Welcome to Intergenerational Conversations, where hosts Keona, Owens, and Josephine Robinson bridge the generational gap in the nonprofit world. Each episode dives deep into topics that bring diverse ages togetherness, sparking innovation, understanding, and collaboration. Through engaging interviews and dynamic discussions, Intergenerational Conversation explores how different generations contribute their unique perspectives to shape stronger, more inclusive nonprofit communities. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your journey, join us as we uncover the power of conversations, shared experiences, and collective wisdom across the age. Hey, welcome. Good evening. We're early. We had to reschedule because, summer Chicago is amazing.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Mama Josephine.
Hey, Keona. Yes, summer is here. We're having a great time.
I know. So first of all, welcome to Intergenerational Conversations. We're so glad to be in your space wherever you are. Today's topic, we actually had scheduled for today's discussion to be cultivating future leaders. So I'm glad to have this conversation with my community mother, Miss Josephine Robinson. If you guys don't know her, she is a gem. She is like everything in the community, the be all and all, Miss Josephine Robinson.
All right. And my community daughter, she's got all kind of, she's juggling all kinds of things. So it's exciting to see that our next generation, our millennials, are doing great things in the community. And we can't believe what some people say, that millennials and Gen X's and Gen Z's don't love the community. Because you're an example of that and so many more. So I'm excited about that.
Thank you. I love people, and I know you do.
I do.
You've been a staple in all the communities, especially my home community, the community I grew up in, which is Inglewood.
Yes.
So thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your servitude. Thank you for your love. And we love the people. I think at an early age, I was taught, in order to be great, learn to serve. So I think when we just talk about leadership, let's start off with servitude.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I'm in the process of possibly writing a children's book about my mom. Yes, I'm excited. And I learned service from her.
Yes.
We grew up in the Fuller Park community, which is a little north, right north of Inglewood, right by the expressway. And my mom, first we lived in the old tenements in the 50s. I was born in 54. So when people say, we lived there, where you shared a bathroom and everything. Then we moved over to Fuller Park. And what I admired about my mom, it was 9 of us. Wow. Eventually. But she always had time for other people. Wow. And children specifically. So what I saw her doing was I didn't realize how it influenced me, because she had time for us and she had time for other people, and she loved the Lord because she was a prayer warrior, but she also loved the community and provided opportunity. So I think it's really important, and I see what you do with your children. And my daughter is a young professional now. They saw us doing it.
Yeah.
And my daughter is in the field. So I think it's really important that you let people know service. Yeah. And service has nothing to do with wealth. Yeah. It has to do with dedication and opportunity. And I think that's what we've got to do. And not that people that have wealth can't serve, but it's not equivalent. And I just think it's wonderful what I'm seeing now. I mean, I don't let anybody talk about what young people are not doing, because they are.
I'm glad you brought that up. Service is passion, it's heart. But how do you, I was in a coaching session today.
Okay.
And my mentee asked me, how do you create balance when you have family and you love people? Like, how do you create boundaries? And I think one of the things that I've learned this year is pouring into myself. Like,
Excellent.
giving the same space that I give for others, but giving that grace to myself. Can you share some wisdom and tips on how we can actually create that space?
I think it's really important because a mentor of mine, my big sister, she has passed away, but she really taught me to balance.
Yeah.
And I had friends who were mothers that were a little bit older than me, and they said, you can't go back and raise your children.
Yeah.
And they lied when they said you can have everything at the same time.
Yeah.
And those people that appear to have it, they have nannies and full-time housekeepers and all of that. And most of us don't have that. And I remember so vividly my sister-in-law, she was a high school counselor, just par excellence. And she told me, and a wonderful mother, and she told me, you pay now or pay later.
Wow.
And she was very clear, because I love the community, and when my daughter was younger, I was on boards and getting ready to be on corporate non-for-profit boards, and I was really excited. And she said, your mom lives with you, but there's no substitute for you being with your child. And I think that's what I tell young parents all the time. They're only 10 once. And when they look at you cockeyed when they're 15 because you want to spend time with them, and you didn't have time before, they won't. But the older you get, and if you spend time, and I've seen my peers who were wonderful mothers, and we all make mistakes, and we do the best, but the children don't mind spending time with them.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't take away from my love for the community, but I was very clear, and sometimes not as clear as I should have been. But I think if people can learn that balance, because children, God gifts you with children they're only mother.
Yeah.
Nonprofits, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of service. And when you do well, what you're doing by your children, they'll get grown and they'll be on their own. And then you can say, I'm going to do whatever I can do whenever I want to do. But you got to be very careful because it's enticing.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're doing negative things. I think that's what happens a lot of times. People feel that, you're doing good things for the community. But there's no substitute for mothers with their children. And I think it's a balance. And reading Michelle Obama's book, she talked about that balance and how she was very clear when her daughters came. She had her daughters what she needed to do to make sure that, and even when she became First Lady. And I think that's are good lessons to learn.
Yeah. And I love that you do have an amazing daughter. Your daughter is a leader and a pillar, and you are a pillar in the community. But at what age was she when you learned to create that balance?
Well, I think I lost her dad when she was 3. And so I was not my plan to be a single mom.
Yeah.
I had been married. He was very successful, and we were on our way. And I think what happened is that I had a great mother who was very supportive, and to the point where when my daughter was 1, she came to my house. I would pick her up. We lived so close to each other, and she would watch my baby. I was able to work part-time because of my husband. But after my husband passed, I had a great support system. I mentioned my sister who was wonderful, and my other sisters, but my older sister mentored, and I had a dear friend who was a single mother who had a boy and a girl, and we used to talk almost every night about balancing that out, and she was an icon when it came to working with making sure that people had quality health care. And I used to call her the Oprah of the South Suburbs. She was marvelous, but what she did is she taught me the importance of being with your children, and then seeing other people that I saw that I believe were really good mothers to kind of say. Because people, when I was younger, I always would kind of wonder, why don't kids want to spend time when their parents get older? And I found out if you talk to them, their parents didn't have time for them.
Yeah.
And so it's really key, and it's a balance, and you take like you do with your son, and you're teaching them about the business, you bring them along, but you also value them as your children, and you let them know that they're important too. And I think that's what getting your village is really important. Yeah. And listening to that village And even when you don't, and not sweating the small stuff. Because I had one man who was an excellent father, and I was sweating something about my daughter doing something. He said, that's not even important.
Yeah.
This is what's important. And I think sometimes we spend time on things that are not important, but developing character and having them develop integrity and respecting people at all levels and being able to go to the White House or to the governor's mansion or the mayor's office, and also being able to work in the community with people that have limited resources is so important. And I think sometimes we miss that, and people forget about that. And you can, children, I think they see you too. They observe you.
Yeah.
So they see, my daughter saw me, your children saw you, I saw my peers, and it's so important. Mm-hmm. And we live in such a rich city with so many wonderful things for families to do, both for cost or no cost. Mm-hmm. And it's really important to do that. And I think as you find yourself mentoring younger people, to let them know to get that balance, because there's always something to do in this field. It's always, but you gotta have sacred time, and and your kids, young people, your children, have got to realize. And sometimes I was a little slow, but you got to say that this is sacred time.
Yeah. I think for me, like what age my children were when it hit home. Let me be very transparent. I grew up spoiled. I am the only child.
Okay.
And I didn't learn how to do laundry or learn like the domesticated things in the household. I was taught that you had to work and go to school. So those are my two charges.
Right.
When I grew up. So I think at the age of my second child was 1 is when I stopped buying gifts, and I valued the time that we spent together. I actually poured into them, and I taught them at an early age like the importance of time, and I pretty much just spent quality time with them. And I think that's why my oldest is 20 something.
It's okay.
And my middle child, his birthday is in 3 days. Happy early birthday, Jeremiah. And my birthday is Sunday. So I am a single mother of 3, but with that, I was able to show them life. We served in a church, we served in a community, and they served with me.
Exactly.
But I think the most important thing was we spent time together. And I think when we didn't have when we grew up, we only had one TV in the home.
Exactly.
Which was in the living room, and we actually used that time as a common space to gather, read books, do things that family does, and we traveled a lot. And I think that during that time is when my children was like, man, and people like, you have a great relationship with your children. That's because we actually spent quality time together.
That's I'm sure you've read Love Languages.
I love Gary Chapman.
Yes. And one of the things is my love language is time.
Yeah.
I'd rather have time than a gift. If somebody said, well, how about spending a day with me or giving me a gift? I would pick, time is so important, because memories, and I know you've heard it and people have said it, when people, as they get older, and especially as they begin to transition from this life to the next, to eternal life, I'm a Christian, you don't think about what you got. You think about the time that you spent. And it also makes them feel valuable.
Yeah.
And also to be able to be key, and for them to see. And, I took my daughter, and Jeremiah works with you now. I think for them to see how you interact and respect people, it's really important. And those lessons are so important. And I think and the village that you keep around. I know you got a strong village of people that love you. I have a very strong village. I've got friends that I've had since I was in high school. Yeah. I've got friends that I went to graduate school with, friends that I've had, and I saw how, and I listened to them. Yeah. One of my dear friends who recently passed, she was an excellent mother. She had twin girls and a son, and I just saw how they were very beautiful, but on the inside and out. but I saw as she got older how they loved and took care of her, and I know it's based on how she did. So I think, and those of us in nonprofits, if we can get leaders to know, it's it's important for us to serve the community, but it's also doing child rearing age, and it's only 18 years. It's really not a long time when you think about it, because most of us are living much longer. If you make your children your priority and still do the best service that you can, it's a win-win. But it's people talk about a balance, and people say it's really not. Doing child rearing, I think children should have priority. And as they grow up, then you can kind of say, if you want to stay up all night or go to a meeting or travel all around. And traveling, you mentioned traveling, is really important to give them. Whether my mom, what she did, we didn't have a lot of money, but Chicago was our place. So we went to Riverview, like old great America. I mean, Riverview was the old great America. We went to Lincoln Park Zoo. We went to the circus. Our church was real important. And I'm a believer that children should be a part of a church and develop that spiritual foundation as well, because that helps them as they grow and mature. So, but I think it's really important, and I think it's no substitute for it. And you can tell when children feel invested, and you do have a relationship with your children, because they know that you love them and also love the people you serve.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that you brought up 2 points, community, and you also brought up the 5 love languages. I think that book, I would never forget when I was first exposed. Exposure is key.
Exactly.
I think oftentimes people don't tap into their who and their where until they actually are exposed to possibilities, creativity, all the good things. But it was when I read Gary Chapman, I think that was in I think Jeremiah was like 4, so 2009 or something like that is when I first read that book. And when I say that book changed my life.
Yes.
It changed my life so much that I went to the Christian bookstore, I would never forget, and I bought all the copies they had. They had them on sale for $5, and I just gave the book away.
Wonderful.
Because I'm like, if it changed my life to understand the power of different love languages and understand that we all communicate in different languages, and it just put things into perspectives. I'm going into a tangent right now.
No. But I think your point is well taken. My friend that I said they called her the Oprah of the Southland. Her gifts, books were her gifts.
Yes.
And I'm sure if I have one book, she gave me 30, and she gave me personable. There's one on Hind's Feet. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it really is an allegory about what happens in terms of love and peace and using animals. But I'm rereading a book that she gave me in 2009, Unconditional Joy.
Oh.
So her books are just, and she introduced, and books are so important. And reading, so that, the fact that Touch Gift does so much around literacy.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, if I couldn't read, what my life would be like. And when you can read, you can share it, and then people can learn from themselves. There's a classic book about when you're in the middle of your career, Who Moved My Cheese?
I know, I love that book.
Yeah, but I think people miss it because they don't realize things change.
Yeah.
And those of us that are baby boomers, and as things change, we've got to adapt. And those people that are still in the working field, you got to learn how to adapt. And I recommend people to read that book. It's a classic. And there's some classics, and I think you're right, is that books can really, and sometimes you know it in your gut, but what books give you is they give you a framework and a theoretical framework in which to operate, which is so important. So when you're explaining to people, you can't say, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I give lists of books to people to read. I go to a wonderful cafe in Inglewood.
What's the name of the cafe?
Kisana's Cafe.
Yes. And where is it located?
It's on 69th and I think Peoria. And one of the staff members there, I gave her a list. I love to give, because my friend said books were her angels.
Yeah.
And you can find so much. And when you share it, And then when you spend time and you teach your children the value of friendship and professional colleagues. I think friendship is there, and when you work in this business, a lot of times, and you got to know when it's public, and the relationship is public, and you're not going to invite them to your house for dinner. But sometimes those public relationships, because of your like-minded, they also become private. And to know the difference, because a lot of times, powerful people, I learned this in community organizing, make people think that they are a part of their private network, and they're not. But they're using them in order to get what they want. But if you're women and men of integrity, you know the difference, and it's important to know that.
And speaking of books, Miss Josephine and myself, we do operate 2 different book clubs. I have a book club. We meet every third Friday at Burst Into Books Community Art Center, which is on 107th. It's every third every third Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. and that is 119 East 107th Street. And we're also hosting a literacy. Burst Into Books is hosting their 4th annual Literacy Wow Words of Wonder Literary Festival, which will be this month, July 26th, at the Gately Stadium from 11 to 6 p.m. Please search on Instagram, all social media platforms, Wow Literary Festival. The mastermind behind that is Jarima Gorham. So please follow Wow Lit Fest or Burst Into Books and join us for the 4th annual literary festival. Unfortunately, I did not have the flyer, but this was a perfect segue.
Yes, it was.
to promote it.
And she was our guest last month.
She
was.
And
what she's doing around literacy is really important. And we have a book club, meaning Sisters in the Struggle. It's one of the groups that we some of our members, we've been friends for over 30 years. And our next book is in September, and it's by Ernest Krim, How Black History Saved My Life. Wow. Amazing. He was a guest speaker in 2024 for our Community Engagement Day for our Cradle to Success. But it really uses how Black history and using his life in terms of what he did and how the importance of sharing that. And I think the power of reading and communicating and understanding the community. I just got finished reading Southside about I heard about it from at the University of Chicago. She spoke, but she made some things I knew kind of, but I never heard it that way. So a good book is wonderful, and a good book club is amazing.
That's right. And that's where you also can find what Ms. Josephine mentioned earlier, community.
Yes.
Whether it's a forum, a book club, any organization that you want to be a part of, when you find that right alignment, you tap into sides of you that you probably aren't aware of, especially if you're in this identity, finding yourself. It's a perfect way to build community and be around like-minded people.
I think that's important. It's so important because when you're in the nonprofit field, it can be very demanding. It's a lot. But if you got people that understand and you can share your information and share your struggles as well as your success and support people, it's so important.
Yes. And would you know, we are running out of time. I just love that you like, what? We just started. We have 1 minute. Okay. First of all, we were talking about cultivating future leaders, and we actually went into a conversation that I think God knows what we need in this moment. So thank you so much for being an amazing co-host. Guys, this is our 10th episode. Yes, we have been going live faithfully every month, and we have 2 more episodes for this series. Please join us back here next month. August 25th, we'll be talking about promoting intergenerational advocacy. And then our last episode for this series is sustaining intergenerational connections. Those dates are August 25th and September 22nd will be our last session for this series, our last episode. So we appreciate you guys for gathering with us. I love this lady. Do you have any last words that you want to share with our guests?
I think it's wonderful, and I'm excited. We have the opportunity to share, and just to remind that eventually they can look at it at YouTube. And so we'll share. But we're glad because it's really important. There are people along the spectrum that are doing amazing work, and the more we can work collaboratively together, the better it is.
That part. Community is collaboration, guys. Yeah. Join some form of community and be great. You know?
Yes.
We'll see you next month, same time. Well, actually, the fourth Monday. Again, you can catch us on YouTube for the replays. We'll also be sharing that on our Miss Josephine Cradle to Success Facebook. I am on IG and Facebook, and she's also on LinkedIn, y'all.
Yeah.
So we'll see y'all next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Intergenerational Conversations, where hosts Keona Owens and Josephine Robinson bridge the generational gap in the nonprofit world. Each episode dives deep into topics that bring diverse ages togetherness, sparking innovation, understanding, and collaboration. Through engaging interviews and dynamic discussions, Intergenerational Conversation explores how different generations contribute their unique perspectives to shape stronger, more inclusive nonprofit communities. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your journey, join us as we uncover the power of conversations, shared experiences, and collective wisdom across the age.